traffic, green white Cessna, turning final for runway 22, Santa Paula traffic. What do you reckon, you'll make it? That's the way I think.
Alright guys, welcome back to Heavy Metal Horizons, cars, airplanes, and heavy metal. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a super important part of my flight training. And this is making an emergency engine out landing. Basically, I need to be able to land the airplane safely if the engine dies in flight. Now this footage that I'm about to show you is from my flight training here at the Flight Academy at Van Nuys Airport. And usually I'm training with my instructor Mo, but in this footage, I'm actually training with a different instructor, a guy named Ashish. We were out practicing stalls and maneuvers, and he decides to pull the engine out on me and have me make an emergency landing at the Santa Paula airport, which is a smaller, non-towered airport in the area. So basically what he's doing is he's pulling out the throttle to idle, and then I have to land the plane like that without ever adding any engine power back in. You'll see in the footage that I get pretty nervous as I'm coming in trying to make the runway. So let's go ahead and check this out, but real quick guys, if you enjoy videos like this and you're into cars or airplanes, please consider subscribing right now. All right, now let's get started.
Van Nuys Tower, Cessna 990 Bravo, holding short of 16 right for a right crosswind departure.
Cessna 990 Bravo, Van Nuys Tower, squawk 0253, right crosswind departure, approval 130, man 16 right, short winds, clear takeoff, traffic, left basis for the parallel runway, Cherokee East pattern.
Okay, 16 right, clear for takeoff, and we're squawking 0253, 990 Bravo.
So we started off this flight in the late afternoon or early evening, and this kind of gave me an extra challenge because it meant that I was going to be flying right into the sun during some of the flight. After getting our clearance, we took off and headed up for some practice. After doing about an hour of maneuvers and instrument training, we were just up there flying around enjoying the scenery when the instructor pulls the throttle back to idle and then says this.
Smoke in the cabin, smoke in the cabin, smoke in the cabin. Okay, smoke in the cabin, so I'm going to go to idle, power all the way back, turn the fuel off. Pitch. Pitch for 90 knots. Yeah, pick a point over there and hold it. Very good. And the other way. And every 500 feet you ask me if the flame is out. Okay.
So he's simulating a fire in the aircraft where I now have to make an emergency descent to get the airplane down and also try and put the fire out.
Is the flame out? Flame's out, recover. Okay, flame is out, so now I want 65. And I'm going to pick a landing spot. But don't waste a single foot. Pitch, 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 and add that trip. Okay. And we've got an airport right below us, so... Okay. We'll use that as a landing spot. Great. Okay, so we already have the best place to land. Let's run your checklist, please. Okay. So, we're going to do it as if we didn't have the fire, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try restart here. So I'm going to switch the fuel over to the left. Full mixture. Start heat off. Crank, crank, crank. Doesn't start. I change the fuel selector to both. Crank again. That doesn't work. Goes to the right. Crank again. That doesn't work. I switch it to off. Go full lead. Throttle all the way back. And I'm going to squawk 7700 on here. If I was already talking to somebody, I would declare the emergency with them. If I'm not talking to somebody, I'll go to 121.5. Declare emergency. In this scenario, which frequency will you call? Because the nearest airport is Santa Paula. Yeah, I could, well, yeah, I would call that airport, even though it's a non-towered airport. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's the CTAF. What would your call sound like? It would be, Santa Paula traffic, green white Cessna, mayday, 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 engine failure, descending to land at Santa Paula, green white Cessna, Santa Paula traffic. Okay, go ahead and make your radio call that you're going to join the extended left downwind for runway 22. Okay. Go. I expect wheels on the ground, so keep turning. Okay. You'd much rather be higher than lower. Okay. Santa Paula traffic joining a extended downwind, left downwind for runway 22, Santa Paula traffic. Who are you? I said green white Cessna, right? No, damn it. And of course, a short runway, so short field landing. Right. And tell them that Santa traffic, white diamond star, taxiing to runway 22 for departure. You see him, right? Yeah. Okay, make your call. Traffic green and white Cessna on downwind now for left downwind for runway 22, Santa Paula traffic.
So the way Ashish set this up was he first had me do the emergency descent, and then he's simulating where, okay, we've done the descent, now the fire is out, but the engine is dead, and you have to make an emergency landing.
Be careful with these mountains, because you don't have power. Santa Paula traffic, green white Cessna, turning left base for runway 22, Santa Paula traffic.
So this entire time the throttle has been back to idle, and I now have to enter the pattern and do my approach and my landing all with the engine just at idle. I think at this point you can kind of see here on my face that I'm starting to get a little bit nervous because there's a lot of terrain in the area. There are some hills on my right side. I don't want to get too close to them, but then I also don't want to make any unnecessary movements with the plane because I don't have a lot of altitude and not a lot of airspeed.
Watch your speed. Santa Paula traffic, green and white Cessna, turning final for runway 22, Santa Paula traffic. What do you reckon, you'll make it? That's better, I think.
So as I'm coming into my final approach here, it's a little hard to tell on the video, but I just made it over those trees right before the end of the runway.
And go fully dirty. Go, don't waste time. Climb the wind and put the nose down.
To keep my airspeed up, I'm coming in without any flaps. And so right as we come over the beginning of the runway, just before we touch down, the instructor has me put all the flaps in to help slow us down.
That's a pretty valiant effort, that's pretty good. You took your time, you know. And again, it's only a fair expectation that a private pilot be able to land safely. Yeah. With that much altitude to spare, so it was good. And Santa Paula traffic, green and white Cessna taxiing back for departure, Santa Paula traffic.
So I gotta admit, this was pretty nerve-wracking for me, but I was able to do it without ever putting any power back into the engine. And of course, we didn't crash. After the landing, we just taxied back for departure and headed back to Van Nuys. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed that video, please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up and all that good stuff. But now another thing, if there are any pilots out there who are watching this video, I would love to hear from you guys what you think, if you have any tips or tricks that you like to do when you're coming in for a landing like that, basically a power off landing. Now, in that scenario that the instructor set up for me, I fortunately had that airport fairly close by and I had enough altitude where I could get down to it and glide into the landing. But of course, there are other situations that you could be in where there are no airports nearby, or you don't have enough altitude to get to a nearby airport. Anyway, guys, I would love to hear what you thought about the video. Stay tuned for more stuff, and I'll see you soon.